want to make certain that that's
I like
clear.
that. That's good. So let them sue
Yahweh,
Yahweh for malpractice.
Exactly.
The one upstairs. Okay,
Exactly.
let's go to Pompano. You're on the air.
Yeah, is this Steve?
Yes, it is.
Steve, I'm down here from Boston, Massachusetts, only 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
And up there we listen to talk radio guys like Jerry Williams and Gene Burns, and they discuss the issues of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard your show yesterday. You sound like a bright guy.
Mm.
And I'm wondering, I don't have a question for Yahweh, but I'm wondering how you could spend 2 hours of valuable airtime conversing with a guy who seriously is in need of psychiatric intervention.
It's real easy. The same way that you spend 2 hours listening to it. Need I say more? In Pompano, you're on the air.
Hello, how are you today?
Good, how are you?
Pretty good. I wanted to ask a question to Mr. Yahweh. First of all, I believe it says in the Bible that the Messiah was going to have apostles. Is that correct?
There are many things that are attributed to the Bible, and there are many interpretations of what the Bible says, and it's impossible to go over all of those different opinions on a show like this. I can only say that I'm here to reconcile all differences and bring peace to the world through the moral teachings of Yahweh.
Okay, I see. The reason I asked you that was because I was curious to know what position do the I mean, everybody knows about the people that follow you in their not their turbans, but they wear the African garb and all that, African clothing. And I was wondering what is their position in the church? Are they basically your apostles, or are they just followers, or do you have any apostles? Do you have any close people to you that you would consider, your closest followers, or the people that write about your teachings?
Well, as far as dress, my disciples wear all types of dress, and followers. They couldn't be recognized from anyone else in the secular world. There are those who choose to dedicate their lives exclusively to Yahweh, and of course they may wear white robes most of the time with a diadem. Now your second question?
Well, are they your closest followers then?
My closest followers are those who obey the will of Yahweh and keep His laws according to the Holy Scriptures.
Okay, so then basically what you're saying is that you really don't have anybody that's I can only compare it to the way Jesus had 12 apostles, and they were his closest friends, so to speak, and and they wrote about him and kept records of what he did. Mm-hmm. And I'm assuming then that you don't have people like that. Is that correct?
Oh, I have people who are just that interested, yes, but there are a lot more than 12.
Okay. The reason I wanted to ask you this is because is that basically the position that guy, the guy, I guess somebody had murdered somebody in Miami last year over Steve had mentioned about the apartment buildings, and I was wondering what exactly is his position if he was not one of your apostles, and where does he stand now in your church?
Sir, this is Ellis Rubin, and I'll answer that question. It's a fair question. The fellow who you're talking about has been indicted by the Dade County Grand Jury for, I believe at this time, it's 4 unlawful homicides, which is murder.
Okay.
And while he was awaiting trial, I was his attorney.
Okay.
And during that period of time, this fellow made statements against the Yahweh religion and against Yahweh Ben Yahweh.
Uh-huh.
And because of that, I withdrew as his attorney because I can't represent both of them if they're in conflict.
Okay.
And the fellow now has a new attorney, and I believe he's going to trial in January.
Okay.
And at that trial, all of your questions will be answered.
Okay. Then, Mr. Ben Yahweh, at this point, then you until he is, okay. I guess the point, the stand you're taking is that he is innocent until proven guilty. Is that correct?
No, of course he's innocent until proven guilty, but Yahweh Ben Yahweh is taking no stand on the fellow because he's accused of some very vicious murders. When and if he is convicted, he will be punished for those.
Uh-huh.
But in the meantime, he has been excommunicated from the religion, not because of these charges against him, but because of the charges he made against Yahweh Ben Yahweh. And he revealed that he did not adhere to the tenets of the Yahweh religion, and therefore, as anyone else would be, he was excommunicated.
Okay.
Now let him go to trial and let him defend himself, and let's get off this subject.
All right, we thank you for your call. We're going to have to take a short break for a news update at the bottom of the hour, a half hour to go with Yahweh Ben Yahweh, and then we will have 2 hours of open phones. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show on WIOD News Talk Radio 610. To get back to Yahweh Ben Yahweh, and we will take a couple more calls. I was saying, going over this board, everybody is very skeptical, needless to say. Ellis said off the air, it's probably because they're white, and they've been told that the Yahwehs are their enemies for all these years.
Steve, I was very skeptical when I was called to be interviewed by Yahweh Ben Yahweh.
Are you now a
They
believer?
were selecting they were selecting an attorney.
Uh-huh.
They needed general counsel, and I was among those who were interviewed, and my wife asked me not to even go to be interviewed because she had read what was being written in the Miami Herald and was being broadcast by the local TV stations, and she said, I don't want you to get mixed up with these people because they sound very violent and it'll be very unpopular and you'll lose your other clients, and why do you need it, and so on and so forth. So that's all I needed to go.
Of course.
And I was interviewed, and I was called back and said that they had selected me to be their general counsel, and I said, well, there's a few requirements, and I'd like to meet with you again. And among the requirements was that if I was to be their general counsel, they would have to open themselves up to the media. They would have to open themselves up to the public, because I believed after they explained to me what they were, what they believed in, what they wanted to do, I said, well, those are all very noble aspirations, but the public doesn't know it. And what the public doesn't know, they fear. And when the public has been poisoned by misdirected reporters who themselves didn't know, so they were taking allegations from people, and they were running them as the gospel.